8 Rajya Sabha members suspended for remaining part of monsoon session, Ripun Bora from Assam among them. India-China hold commander-level talks for the 6th time after a gap of 1.5 months, discuss border situation. COVID infections on the rise in Northeast, Mizoram issues new unlock guidelines. Educational institutions reopen in Assam. Across India, COVID recovery rate crosses 80%. And Doner Minister Jitendra Singh unveils logo and song for Destination Northeast 2020 Festival. Good evening and welcome to the Northeast News. This is Jushna Borua with the news in detail. In national news first, 8 Rajya Sabha members have been suspended from the upper house for the remaining part of monsoon session for their unruly behaviour during the passage of 2 farm bills on Sunday. They are Congress members Rajiv Satav, Ripun Bora and Nazir Hussain, TMC members Derek O'Brien and Dola Sen, CPI members KK Ragesh and Ilamaram Karim, and Aam Aadmi Party member Sanjay Singh. Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs V. Muralidharan moved a motion to suspend these members for creating ruckus and disrupting the chair by their unruly behaviour. The motion was accepted with voice vote and Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu announced the names of the suspended members. Naidu also condemned Sunday's incident, terming it unacceptable and condemnable. The chairman rejected the no-confidence motion moved by the 46 opposition members against the deputy chairman, citing that the notice was not in proper format. In more news from Parliament, Lok Sabha has passed the National Forensic Science University Bill 2020. The bill establishes National Forensic Science University as an institution of national importance. The proposed university would facilitate and promote studies and research and help achieve excellence in the field of forensic science in conjunction with applied behavioral science studies, law, criminology and other allied areas. The House also passed the Rashtriya Raksha University Bill. The bill seeks to provide for the establishment of Rashtriya Raksha University, Gujarat. The key objectives of the university include providing dynamic and high standards of learning and research and providing a working environment dedicated to advancing research, education and training in the domain of policing. The Lok Sabha also passed the Salaries and Allowances of Ministers Amendment Bill 2020. In more national news, in Ladakh region, India and China today held commander-level talks for the 6th time at Moldo in Chinese side of the line of actual control. The corps commanders met after a gap of 1.5 months to discuss the border situation. However, in the backdrop of Shanghai Cooperation Organization in Moscow and high-powered China study group meetings recently, along with the corps commander, the Joint Secretary from External Affairs also joined today's meeting at Moldo. This was a significant development as far as the talks between India and China to arrive at certain implementable decisions to restore peace and tranquility in the region. In the corona update from the region, Arunachal Pradesh has reported altogether 7,385 with 5,408 recoveries and 13 deaths. Manipur has reported altogether 8,894 cases with 6,767 recoveries and 57 deaths. The number of cases in Meghalaya have reached 4,660 with 2,513 recoveries and 36 deaths. In Mizoram, there are now altogether 1,585 cases with 1,002 recoveries. Nagaland has reported altogether 5,451 cases with 4,252 recoveries and 15 deaths. Sikkim has a total of 2,472 cases with 1,975 recoveries and 28 deaths. Lastly, Tripura has recorded the highest number of 22,275 cases with 15,464 recoveries and 245 deaths. In Mizoram, as the extended partial lockdown came to an end, the state government has issued fresh unlock guidelines. The new guidelines are similar to the ones issued on August 31st with certain minor modification. The order said the government has decided to ease restrictions on some economic activities without compromising with the precautionary measures. Night curfew will be clamped in all the district headquarters, including Aizawl, from 8:30 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. The order said all commercial activities in the state will remain normal. In Meghalaya, the Deputy Commissioner of Ribhoi District R.M. Kurba has informed that the recovery status among COVID-19 patients in the district has increased, with over 220 patients recovering till date. Active cases stand at 129 in the district. On the entry of stranded citizens to the state, Kurba said the process has been simplified by providing an online option where people will have to provide some information and carry a valid identification proof.
Heads in their respective constituencies COVID-19 committees.
In the corona update from Assam, Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma in a tweet said altogether 1,227 persons tested positive during the last 24 hours, the positivity rate being 6.35%. The total number of COVID-19 cases in the state now stands at 1,56,680 with 1,27,335 recoveries. The death toll has increased to 562. In Assam, educational institutions reopened today after a gap of 6 months. Classes for the 9th and 12th standard students were held today with a maximum attendance of 20 students per class. The students had to carry a no objection certificate from their guardians for attending classes. Only 50% of teachers and non-teaching staff were allowed to attend schools today. Thermal screening of students and staff was carried out before the classes. According to the standard operation procedure issued by the Education Department, 9th and 12th standard students will attend classes on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, while the rest of the 3 days are reserved for the 10th and 11th standards. The SOP effective from today will be modified after observing the situation for the next 15 days. India has occupied the top position in the world in terms of total recoveries of COVID patients. The Union Health Ministry has said India's recoveries constitute 19% of the total global recoveries. More than 43,96,000 COVID patients have recovered till date. The total recoveries of USA is 18.70%, Brazil 16.90% and Russia 4%. The ministry said the country's recovery rate has reached 80.12%. During the last 24 hours, more than 93,000 COVID patients have recovered. The constantly increasing recoveries have ensured that the actual caseload of country has reduced and currently comprises only 18.28% of the total positive cases. India's COVID-19 tally has crossed 54 lakh. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is over 10 lakh. Currently, India's case fatality rate is 1.60%. In the last 24 hours, 1,130 deaths have been reported, taking the total to 87,882. Across the globe, the total number of COVID-19 cases has risen to 3,12,59,032, whereas 2,28,42,644 people have recovered till date. Meanwhile, the death toll rose to 9,65,323. India is currently in the second place in terms of cases, while the US accounted for the world's highest number of cases at 70,04,768. Union Health Minister Dr. Harsh Vardhan has said considerable number of deaths due to COVID-19 pandemic have been avoided due to an early lockdown in the country. He said capacity building was done on a war footing to deal with the challenges emanating from the pandemic. Replying to a discussion on COVID-19 pandemic in the country, he said it was the NDA government's wisdom that it had made a provision of giving 50 lakh rupees insurance to frontline workers in the fight against the pandemic. Dr. Harsh Vardhan said Centre had made all efforts to enable migrant workers to reach their destinations. He said adequate number of oxygen cylinders and ventilators were provided to all states and union territories. He said the lockdown period was utilized so that all mechanisms to deal with the pandemic were in place and dedicated COVID facilities could be set up.
हम सब मिलकर इस कोविड के खिलाफ जंग में देश के सभी स्वास्थ्य मंत्री स्वास्थ्य विभागों के साथ लड़ाई को लड़ रहे हैं.
Union Minister of State for Development of Northeastern Region, Doner, Dr. Jitendra Singh, today unveiled the logo and song for Festival Destination Northeast 2020, the Emerging Delightful Destinations, through a video conference. The 4-day event will be formally inaugurated by Union Minister for Home Affairs, Amit Shah, on September 27, with Dr. Jitendra Singh as the guest of honor. The chief guest for the closing ceremony the next day will be Kiren Rijiju, Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports. Speaking on the occasion, Dr. Jitendra Singh said the northeastern region will be one of the favorite tourist and business destinations of India post-COVID-19 and will be an important engine for Prime Minister Narendra Modi's clarion call of Atmanirbhar Bharat by focusing on the objective of vocal for local. In Meghalaya, Opposition Chief Whip and Maulai MLA P.T. Sokme has informed that the primary health centres and community health centres in his constituency is running with lesser number of doctors, and filling up the vacant post will enable better access to health care for the people. He said there is just one doctor in place of 4 at the primary health centre and 2 in the community health centre. In Nagaland, Sakhi One-Stop Centre and District Administration of Peren recently organized an awareness program of child sexual abuse and personality development with a theme towards a new way of growing and healing at Servanthood Ministry Children Home in Peren town. The program was on activity-based learning. OSC Nodal Officer N. Kia, EAC Peren, encouraged the children to develop the skills and focus in their studies as well. To end the news, the main points once again. 8 Rajya Sabha members suspended for remaining part of monsoon session, Ripun Bora from Assam among them. India-China hold commander-level talks for the 6th time after a gap of 1.5 months to discuss border situation. COVID infections on the rise in Northeast, Mizoram issues new unlock guidelines. Educational institutions reopen in Assam. Across India, COVID recovery rate crosses 80%. And Doner Minister Jitendra Singh unveils logo and song for Destination Northeast 2020 Festival. And that's all in this bulletin. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.